Hello, welcome to Virtual Bring Your Kids to Work Day. My name is Lieutenant Brown and I've been with the Atlanta Police Department for 19 years. I've been with Zone 4 for a little over a year. Today we're going to give you a tour of our Atlanta police vehicle. Inside our vehicle is our mobile MDT. We run vehicle registrations and person search for their driver's license. We also have our radio that we communicate with each other. And we have a loudspeaker. It's a beautiful day in Atlanta. We also have our lights and sirens where we do takedowns and vehicle stops. Our back seat, this is where we transport prisoners safely with our police harnesses and seat belts. Towards the back in our trunk, we have our vehicle lockbox, and this consists of caution tape, fire extinguisher, first aid equipment, water, and things for the scene that we may need in case of emergencies. I hope you enjoyed our tour, and we'll see you next year.
Yeah. Hi, welcome to the Atlanta Police Department's Personnel Unit. I'm Major Browning, and I am over the Corporate Services section. So one of the units of operation that I supervise is the PAWS unit, or Police Animal Wellness Support. So I want you to meet two of our canine assistants here that help people decompress and bring joy to their workday. So this right here, this is Cub. So Cub is a 3-year-old golden retriever. We are so lucky that Canine Assistants donated him to our program. This dog is bred to be an emotional support dog, but he also detects seizures in people and high and low blood sugar. So this is Cub. Now this right here, this is Scout. She is a 3-year-old Tennessee Mountain Cur mix, and she is the first emotional support dog in our program. So she started coming about a year ago to Public Safety Headquarters, and the benefits we saw were so great that we expanded our program to include Cub, and we even have a puppy in training. So I want you to come in here. I want you to see how the dogs greet people on a daily basis. All right, come on guys, go see your friends. Come this way. Who's here today? Oh, say hi.
Let's go. Hi. Hey, Cub. Hi. How you doing? Come here, Scout. Come here. Come here, Scout. Hey, girl. Hey, girl.
So as you can see, the dogs come into the work sites and they greet folks. And everybody has fallen in love with these animals and even bring them treats on a daily basis. So y'all, after hours of being behind the computer, do the dogs help you out?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Great mental break.
Yes.
Hey,
Scott, you want to give me a hug? Scott, give me a hug. Scout, give me a hug. Give me a hug. You give me a hug, hug.
oh, like I like this place.
Huggy hug.
Hey, Scout.
I mean, no, it's Scout. Hug.
So this is what these animals do on a daily basis. They come in here and they help people decompress from a hard day and just bring a little light into their day. So I hope you enjoyed seeing these guys in action. And anytime you want to come see them, just let us know.
Let's get at it.
Hi, I'm Doug Evans. Welcome to the Drug Chemistry Branch of the Atlanta Police Crime Laboratory. I've been in this branch probably since 2006, so we're talking about at least 15 years. And I want to welcome you all to Bring Your Kid to Work Day Virtual Edition. Come on as we come to the fume hood. This is where we might put dangerous chemicals or drugs, and so that we won't breathe those drugs in, we'll have on our fume hood, and the drugs will go up in under our fume hood. Here we have a microscope and what's called a Raman TruNarc device. We shoot a laser, and this is our pilot test program. We shoot a laser from the Raman to the substance that we don't know what that substance is, and we will get a reading. Sometimes there's nothing in it but baking soda or something else. Sometimes we might even get cocaine. And so in this particular case, we did get a reading for cocaine. All right. Why don't you come over to our workstation? We have a lot of equipment here. We have our private fume hoods for each station. This is our station 3. This is my station where I work at station 2. And this is station 1. As you see on our stations, we normally would do marijuana testing at these stations. And so I have a large case of suspected marijuana. We don't know that it's marijuana, but we're going to test it and find that out. One of the first things that we do on this case is we're going to place it on the on the scale, and we're going to get the weight first so that the courts will know exactly how much the sample weighs. Once we get our weight, we will know if it's going to be a felony case, a misdemeanor case, or even a trafficking case. And so after we do that, we're going to place a piece of the sample from this bag in a test boat, and we're going to place that test boat under the microscope. We're going to look for some visual characteristics that lets us know that this is not oregano or parsley that you see in mom's spaghetti. This is actually a plant that has THC, or tetrahydrocannabinol. And that's the substance that may get you high. Now, I know there's been a lot of talk about marijuana, but just understand that some marijuana is not created equal. You guys may be at a party and you doing something you shouldn't do, and you end up getting something in your system that you shouldn't have. So just be mindful that a plant can still be dangerous. All right, this is the rest of our laboratory. As you can see, we put large samples here. We've gotten some samples as large as a 18-wheeler truck. We've gotten samples from airplanes. We've gotten trafficking samples from luggage at the airport. And so when we get those large samples, we can't weigh them on our smaller scales. We have to weigh them on these large scales, or a scale like you and I would step on in the bathroom at home. And when we get those large samples, we may get weight in the hundreds of thousands of pounds. We have had trafficking amounts of marijuana that have gone into the thousands of pounds. And of course, that can carry a hefty court sentence and jail sentence. Most of the time when we finish the weighing, we finish the chemical analysis and using the microscope, it's at that point if we can determine if it's positive or negative. Once we determine if it's positive or negative, we will print and type up a laboratory report. And that report will go right to the courts, or it will go to the court's investigator. Then we're done for that particular case. And there are times that we are called in to testify as expert witnesses for that court case. And there are other times where they will just use our findings to decide if a court case is going to be, played out or not prosecuted. So with that said, this is what we do here at the Atlanta Police Crime Laboratory. I'm Doug Evans, and I want to thank you for going on this virtual tour.
Good morning, I'm Investigator Jennings Kilworth, Atlanta Police Department Crime Lab. Welcome to Bring Your Kids to Work Day Virtual. In this room, we run the NIBIN system. That's the National Integrated Ballistic Information Network. And what it does is it takes high definition 3D images of cartridge cases recovered from crime scenes and also test fires from confiscated firearms. And it runs it through the system and compares it to other crimes to see if there's a potential lead. So here's our little cartridge case holder. So the cartridge case is loaded in, and then it's loaded into the computer system. And from there, the computer takes the images that it needs to be able to download. Once those images are downloaded, we wait for the results to come back, which sometimes can come back within an hour. And it has searched the system to see if it has any potential matches. Here's an example of a match here of two cartridge cases from two different crime scenes. So we're able to take the images and manipulate them and bring them in closer side by side so that you can see how the microscopic striations line up on the cartridge cases, indicating that this is a potential lead. So from there, we notify the investigators in the zones and let them know that a potential lead exists between their cases so that they can investigate it further to see if they can solve the crime. So currently, this is our accomplishment wall. So in 2013, we received 250 hits. By 2015, we were at 350. January of 2017, we're at 500. June of 2019, we had 750. And currently, we just received our plaque for 1,000 from April of 2020, and we're on track this year to break over 1,300. So thank you for joining us today. We enjoyed it, and I hope this helps you with your virtual learning.
Welcome to Bring Your Kids to Work Day Virtual. I'm Giovanna Reed, and I'm a forensic technician here at the Atlanta Police Department Crime Lab. This is a Glock 19 9mm pistol from our reference library collection. I'll be using it today in the demonstration of the shoot tank. With the shoot tank, a firearm is placed here, and the water that's inside of the tank slows down the bullet so that we can capture it for further analysis. If you look over into the shoot tank, you can see that there's a lot of water, and the water is used to slow down the bullet. There's also a hose inside that we use to obtain all of the bullets that are inside, and we place them into a basket. The bullet and the cartridge case are then placed into an envelope, and they're taken to the Niven room for further comparison. Thank you for visiting with us today. See you next year.
Good evening. I'm Sergeant D. Davis from the Atlanta Police Department Zone 4 Precinct. We're getting ready to do our roll call. Our 3 o'clock roll call are known as our late roll call. Before we send the officers out for the tour of duty, we always have to do a daily inspection to make sure they have all the proper equipment and to make sure that their body cameras are charged. Yeah, see you real quick. Looking good. How much power you have in your body camera? 97. 97, good. Another one. Okay, how much camera?
97.
Good. Officer Jones. And how much power do you have?
98.
Good. Officer Michael. And how much power do you have?
97.
And Officer Chandler.
97.
97. Okay, good. Okay, gentlemen. Okay, everybody take your seats. How's everybody feeling today? Good, good, good. It'll be myself and Sergeant Sutton. Your assignments are as follows. Officer Michael got you in 3402. Officer Jones, we have you in 3404 along with Officer Chandler. Beats 3 and 403 and 406 are going to be pulled today. 408 is going to be pulled today. Officer Lawson, we have you in 3410. 3412 is going to be pulled today, and we have Officer Gunawan in 3414. Is there anybody named here who I did not call? All right. Gentlemen, just be mindful of everything that's going on with the trial, but just make sure we'll do our part to stay safe. Please remember to treat everybody with respect. I know we don't have an easy job, but the most important thing is that the way you guys leave this precinct is the same way you come back. Does anybody have anything? Does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, or issues? Going once, going twice. So, folks, y'all please get your keys, y'all please pull in service, and please be safe out there. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Go get them.
Good afternoon. I'm Lieutenant J.D. Patterson with the Atlanta Police Department. I want to show you a quick video for the Bring Your Child to Work Day. We're at the Atlanta Police Property and Evidence section, and we'll take you on a quick tour of what we do here at our facility. As you can see behind us, there's many boxes on multiple rows on 2 different levels. Within these boxes are evidence for murders, homicides, and robberies and other major crimes that have taken place throughout the city of Atlanta over many years. We have case files behind us and evidence behind us dating back to the 1940s and 50s. As we progress through our warehouse, you'll see row after row of evidence being held in criminal cases. Our warehouse is roughly the size of a Walmart, and each piece of our evidence is cataloged and organized through a barcode system. As you can see, evidence of property varies from tires to ATM machines to book bags. Basically, any personal belongings or any item you can think of can or will or has been taken or used in a crime. All of which is held here for safekeeping in controlled environments for future trial purposes when it will be needed. As we continue throughout our warehouse, this is our property evidence, or our property cage, excuse me. As victims come to retrieve their personal belongings such as suitcases, bicycles, as we'll progress through, you'll see cellular phones, personal bags, backpacks, etc. All of which is organized in this area and processed for pickup by the victims of crimes. Over the years, I've seen a lot of pieces of property and evidence come through here, from ATM machines to wheelchairs to just about anything that you can think of being stolen. It's passed through here. Some very strange pieces of property and evidence have come through over the years. As we progress through, you'll see TVs taken in burglaries and smash and grabs. And here's a very good example of why you don't leave backpacks in your vehicles. You should never leave a backpack in plain view in your vehicle because it's a very tempting piece of bait for someone to take. And to follow up on that thought, here's a whole row of stolen backpacks or seized backpacks. Thank you very much for this brief tour. We look forward to being able to do it in person next year for your Bring Your Child to Work Day.
Welcome to Bring Your Kids Virtual Workday with Atlanta Police Department. I'm Crime Scene Supervisor Wood. Today we'll be going to take you through the steps of how we would process evidence once we recover from a crime scene. We'll talk about how to process bottles, cans, and paper. They can all have fingerprints that will help officers and investigators solve a case of what may have happened on scene. Today we will have 3 different individuals showing this process to you. The first will be Senior Crime Scene Tech Dunn. The second will be Senior Crime Scene Tech Johnson. And the third will be Crime Scene Supervisor Green. So for the first step, we will have Dunn step up and he will show you how to get fingerprints off of a can that will be from a crime scene with black powder. And also he will show you how to do magnetic with paper. So if you're looking at Dunn at this time, he has a what we call a super glue wand. And what we use a super glue wand for is to find prints on a can to help it adhere to the surface better, so we have multiple chances to pull those prints off the can. As you can tell, that's the process he will use. Then he will then begin to powder said can, lightly at first, and slowly increasing the amount of powder he puts on it so we can develop the prints to be properly pulled off the surface. As you can tell, he's using the twirling method, going back and forth, looking for prints as they develop. As he starts to find prints, he will start to zoom in on the prints that he's seen and develop them more so they can be properly pulled off the surface. At this time, you can probably start to see that there are prints on the can, and he's starting to develop them more so they can be properly pulled and examined by a latent print examiner. So at this time, what he's doing is he's found some prints, and he has a latent print lifting card. He's going to use that card to properly pull the prints off the surface. As you see, he's laying it down, the tape down smoothly. That way he gets a good clean contact with the surface. And he's pushing out any air bubbles. That way we can get a complete print when lifted off of the can surface. Once the print has been lifted, he will take the print and put it back on the back side of the card that was peeled off. And then it will reveal the fingerprint that was on the surface of the can. As you can tell, that would be a fingerprint that we could turn in and try to match up to see who could have been the one to touch this can involved in that crime. The next thing he's going to do is use a powder, another processing with powder, but this is magnetic powder. Magnetic powder can be used to reveal fingerprints that are on paper. So as you see, he's starting to twirl the magnetic powder over the paper, and you're starting to see fingerprints develop on the paper. As you see, he's not rushing, he's taking his time, and as you can see, the fingerprints are actually developing. Not just a fingerprint, we actually have a whole palm print on the paper that can be used to, once again, match up to see who may have touched this paper on the crime scene. Once we would have prints like this, Dunn would then do a report and make a latent folder where he would turn it over to the Atlanta Police Department's latent team to process these prints and analyze them to see who prints these can match up to. The next step would be senior crime scene tech Johnson. He's going to show you how to process a plastic bottle with black latent powder, and he's going to show you two different ways to lift those same prints. As you tell, he has grabbed a fingerprint brush and he's starting to print the surface. As he prints the surface, once again, prints will start to develop that are on this bottle. The thing about this bottle that makes it a little more difficult, this bottle has grooves and ridges. So when you have grooves and ridges, it does make it a little more complicated to get prints off of the surface. But because we have a professional team here, we are very good at getting prints off of different types of surfaces, no matter whether it's rigid or not. As you tell, he's examining the bottle, looking for more prints to see where he needs to develop more, or if he needs to do any more developing. If he does, he will. As he goes to develop more, that's letting us know that he's probably zoomed in on more where there's a print at. So he's going to show you that this is one of the older ways of lifting prints off a surface. This right here is called latent tape. He's going to lay the tape over the fingerprint. And as he lays the tape on the fingerprint, what he's doing, he's making sure once again he pushes the air bubbles out and digs the tape into the surface. That way he can get a good contact and get a better chance of lifting off good prints off the surface. As you can tell, once again, he's laying the fingerprint tape down. And if you lift it up, you can see, once again, he was able to find prints off of a surface that's normally harder to get prints off of. And what we would like to straight out, you flip over the back of the card. The information on the back of these cards is the same as the latent print lift cards. They're just two different formats of lifting it. Both are successful, but a lot of people do prefer to use the standard tape. Next is Crime Scene Supervisor Green, and she's going to be showing you how to use the iodide capsules to develop fingerprints on paper. This is another way we can develop fingerprints that are on paper. She's going to use a gallon-sized Ziploc bag, drop the paper in, and this paper has someone that will recover from a crime scene, and she's going to put in the capsule. She has broken the capsule, and once the capsule is broken, she is now sprinkling it in.
I can get it all in.
Once the powder is inside the Ziploc bag, she's going to begin to shake. As she shakes, it will start to develop fingerprints on said bag. As you can tell, there's actually a fingerprint already developing on the bag. With this process, you have to be a little more careful because it does create like a gas inside the bag. So as she's shaking, she's making sure the bag doesn't get too gassy. And you can tell as the fingerprints start to develop. If you look, you can see you got a palm print and other fingerprints that could be used once again to match up a possible suspect for a crime. Okay, so I have been doing this job for almost 9 years now. I do love the job, but to my right is Crime Scene Tech Johnson, Senior Crime Scene Tech Johnson. He'll tell you about his experience here.
Well, I'm the oldest active living crime scene latent person. I've been here, I started in 1990 and been here about almost 32 years, so I enjoy my job and it's a pleasure to work here.
So as you can tell, we have a team of professional crime scene technicians. We all enjoy the job, we all are very knowledgeable of the job, and we do take our time and take it very serious when we are on cases and trying to help solve cases, help the police solve cases. And this is just a step in the process of what we do on a daily basis to help the officer and investigators figure out who committed a crime. Thank you for coming, and hope we get to see you next year in person.